Okay, this is a video on how to place entry orders on currencies. All right. One of the things you have to be aware of is patterns in the marketplace, and we're going to show you this pattern right here. As you can see, it's going straight across. It's called a rectangle, right? And you can see we got into this going down. Here's another one over here. So you can see this is the typical movement of this pattern. Okay. So when we see this pattern setting up and it's going straight across here, it's because they're waiting for some information, or they just don't have enough sellers at this point in time to make the trade due to the time of day or whatever happens to be in the marketplace at the time. All right, but it's pretty clear to see. All right. So I'm on a 15-minute chart here, but normally I would be on a 10-minute chart. So we want to be able to place an entry order below here. So one of the keys to placing an entry order is making sure that we have a target that's viable here. And we can see that we have a target down here at 1.618. That's a 1.618 fib extension. That's this green line right here, you can see. So this would be our overall target if we can get there. So you can see here that when we break this line right here, which was the 1.270 fib extension right here, that we'd be looking for this trade right here. And shame on you if you know this trade and you see that they're doing this up here already. Shame on you for clicking out for 5 to 8 pips in here, because this currency is going to try to do whatever it did up here. That's what it's going to try to do down here. All right. So one of the things you want to do before you place an entry order is look at the size of the candles and look at the wicks that are coming down. And you can see this is what we call a probe, this one right here. Okay, it's a probe to see how low we have to go in order to click entry orders. And you can see that they tried to break the 1.270, but we're not able to do that. Okay, so as we see that they weren't able to do it, that means that if we get a break of the 1.270, then that's a significant sign that we're going to try to go to this next target down here. All right. So the other thing is we look at the size of the candles, and you can see they're all pretty small. The danger of placing an entry order is getting a wick that comes in, takes out like this, goes in, finds no entry orders, and so then they go up here. You took your trade in here to go south. It goes up here, finds your stop, stops you out, and turns right around and goes back down. All right. So that's why it's critical to look at the size of the candles. If the candles are small, then that means you can be tighter to the 1.270 wherever you're going to place the entry order. If you're not going to be doing that, if there are big candles in play like this one right here, if you had a whole bunch of big candles in here, then you'd have to go further away. So in this case, we're going to only go about 6 pips below this trade here. But if we had big candles, we might go 10 or 12. And that's also why it's very critical to know where this target is, because if you're eating up real estate by giving this up to be sure you got a safe trade. So if you give up 12 pips, you have less space in here. Okay, but if you got small tight candles here, then you can go tighter, 4 to 6 pips below this line, and your stop, of course, is going to have to be above the last support or resistance. Well, that becomes very clear when you've got a direct line like that. So your stop's going to have to be up here, right? And that gives you the ability then to measure and say, okay, if my trade is here, that would be my risk, and this would be my reward. Okay, and you can see that those boxes are roughly a 1-to-1 relationship. Now, once the trade takes place, we can edit the stop, but we're talking about placing an entry order, which means you may not even be in front of the computer here. Okay, so we're going to place an entry order, and I'll just draw a little line here, 4 to 6 pips below this thing right here. So we're talking about, there's 42. That's 6 pips below. So our entry order would go in there, and it's at 42. Our target is going to be 87 down here, and so we'll be looking for, and we have a 98 even number. So we'll actually shorten this up and say we're going to go to the 98 even number a little bit. All right, so 98 from 42 is 42 pips, okay? And we can see that our stop is going to have to be about 85 pips here, 87. So we got about a 42 for 42 pip trade, so about a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? So, and let's just see what happens here. So if we take that trade and we get it in, okay, now the other thing is here, for us, that's ProAct Traders and Forex Target Traders, if we get a white dot right here, right before market open, that's a serious sign that the market is going to try to do 55 pips, okay? Doesn't always, as you can see over here, we got one right here at the end of the move, so it didn't do that, okay? But the reason for that was that was right at the end of the Asian market, starting into the excuse me, in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's nothing happening at that time. But this time over here, it's 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning. Okay, so that means a big difference. All right, so we'd be looking for 55 pips. So let's put the target on here for 55 pips. We find that candle right there, the top of the candle. We're just going to, for us, we have a tool that automatically measures it for us, and that would be our limit. All right, so now we know that from that white dot to here is 98.04. All right, that would be our target, initial target. We're going to move our stop there, and hopefully we get the 98, which is 4 more pips, and hopefully all the way down to the 97.87. So let's just see what happens. Our trade is in right now, and it keeps on going down. Now it hits the 55. So there's 55 pips on the white dot, and that's currently right about 42 pips for us. And of course, let's see if it goes anywhere. Okay, so you can see it didn't quite make the 97.87, but it made the 98. Any way you look at it, you made 40 to 45 pips right there. And so it's really not that hard to put in entry orders. The key is that you've got to be able to quantify your risk for your reward, a minimum of 1 to 1, number one. And number two, you have to know where the targets are. If you do not know where the targets are, you can't quantify risk and reward. Therefore, you cannot figure out how to place an entry order. Placing an entry order in there for 5 pips may be a ridiculous trade, okay? So it has to have good risk and reward, especially in an entry order where you may not be in front of your computer. So it's really not that difficult to do, but the key is making sure that you know where the targets are. I hope that helps you.